Hi, Game Reactor friends, and welcome to another episode of Game Reactor Live. This is David Caballero from sunny, warm Game Reactor Spain, too warm, too hot. And the game I'm going to play for the next full hour is also as hot as this place in Spain in the middle of the summer. I'm talking about AI, the Somnium Files nirvanA initiative. Well, it should be said that it's not pronounced as AI, which sounds like EA Sports. It's not like that. Actually, the creators of the game pronounce it as I, which would be a more Spanish type of pronunciation because it's an A and it's an I, but it's also an I, an I. So this game is also full of plays on words and full of puns and full of references. And it's made by Kotaro Uchikoshi, which is who is the creator of the Zero Escape series, which you may or may not remember from the DS and 3DS and PS Vita times. And they had these really amazing murder mystery visual novels, starting with 999, and then my personal favorite, which is Virtue's Last Reward, and then Zero Time Dilemma. So amazing, always have to do with murder and with characters, really complex characters, interesting characters, but mostly they are all about philosophy and science fiction in a way. And it's always interesting. As a story, they are always really, really, really good. So answering to Tropisk Forum question right away, is it a Nazi game? It's not a Nazi game. It's a Japanese game, but you can find many, many references, as I said, to pop culture and nowadays trends and technology. So, did you know that Marvel Games made the Battlefield 2042? Okay. So yeah, this is the sequel to 2018 AI, the Somnium Files, or I, the Somnium Files. So when they tell you you can actually play this story standalone and no problem, and you're gonna understand what's going on, it is true, but at the same time, I would say why? Because the game came out so close to each other, so I would say if you really are interested in this type of games, you should really play the first one, because not most of the characters, but some of the very important key characters are going to be out of context. So right away, I'm going to be playing, as I said, for the next full hour, and I'm going to start a new game because, of course, where I'm playing right now, I'm halfway through. It's spoiler territory, so it does make no sense. So I'm waiting for my colleagues to tell me that the sound is okay with that music in the background. Ooh. Always very nice music. And the main difference between, the Somnium Files and the Zero Escape series or trilogy, there are two main differences. First and foremost is graphics and presentation. It, of course, got upgraded, new engine, much better models and environments, etc. Really nice animation. It's much more pleasing to the eye. And the second difference is perhaps the tone and the puzzles, as the Zero Escape games can be a bit too harsh in many ways. It's darker tone, they're more tangled sort of stories with timelines and leaps in time, etc. But these are complex as well. They're just more lighthearted, and they might look a bit dumb, but once you progress through the story, you realize that there is a really interesting mystery to solve, and always science fiction stuff going on. This is all about the pre-existing autosave. I think I can do that. As long as it's the autosave. But the other thing I can do, if I'm correct, is I can start the game from another profile and be safer. So I'm a fan of Kotaro Uchikoshi myself, at least since I played Virtue's Last Reward. 2Kyo Games is the studio that he created alongside the Danganronpa creator. And if you are interested in Kotaro Uchikoshi's work and 2Kyo Games, you look at your local Game Reactor site for Uchikoshi and you're gonna find an exclusive interview that we published during the pandemic with this Japanese creator, which I think, in terms of script writing and scenario writing, I think is one of the very best you can find right now. So why do I start from the beginning, other than avoiding spoilers, is because it's sort of an introduction for both, or to both this game, and for those of you who played the first game, you can have an idea of what's going on here, the years that have passed, and the returning characters, which are of course important, and that's why I don't see any reason to play this unless you've played the first one, or unless you got this as a gift and then you played standalone. But I would say go buy the first game because it's really good. Strange Tale, Converge Chapter 0. This is normally branching storylines and branching timelines in Kotaro Uchikoshi's work. All right. Always bizarre stuff going on, right? This seems like a quiz show on TV. This Ryuki guy is one of the main protagonists this time around. For those asking, this is the Nintendo Switch version. This game released also on PlayStation and PC, and surprisingly on Xbox as well. And for those of you that don't speak English, it's my main gripe with it. Mostly in Spain, these sort of visual novels don't usually come translated to many more languages, which is a problem because they are fantastic. And that boss character is, of course, a returning and beloved character from the first game.
All right, let's keep going. Next question.
What's with these weird people in blue?
In Indian mythology, what is the name of the half-god, half-beast spirits that imbibe sense and are known for their musical ability?
I'm gonna have this fancy background music slightly increased in volume. Always fantastic music with these games, right? In Indian mythology, what is the name of the half-god, half-beast spirits that imbibe sense and are known for their musical ability? As you can see, and when it gets darker and philosophical and techie and science fiction age, it's gonna be tricky unless you are fluent in English. All right, so would you like to view the tutorial? Nope. That being said, in terms of accessibility, this game is much more approachable and welcoming than the first game. They took note of that, and it's full of little tips, and it's easy to get by, and you won't be lost. Okay, so this is the main sort of type of camera you will find here. Sometimes it goes third person, and sometimes there are some QTE sequences, but most of the time you will be seeing the game from the eyes of the protagonist. So you can see the description of many things, such as or like in a graphic adventure. And also, if you click on characters, you can talk to them.
What?
Where am I? You're joking, right?
What are you talking? In Indian mythology, what is the name of that?
So for some reason, I don't know what am I doing here. What am I doing here? Just press the button already.
That button on the tape. Push it.
So this is to answer the question. This is not a game about a quiz show or questions, but this is the weird way they chose, and it also will get more and more, creepy and weird and bizarre as time passes. This little girl here, Tama, she's actually my left eye, and she's an AI, and that's why the series is called I, because she's embedded into the protagonist Ryuki's eye, and she's, as I said, they're usually super techy.
Why don't you press it?
So she's able to analyze everything and to give me live, real-time info on pretty much everything I see.
You mean this button?
Yeah. You'd better hurry, or the other.
He seems sleepy.
There we go. Team Popo was the quickest. And your answer
Of course, Team Popo is a pan already. Okay, and I want to answer the host here. So I could Google this, or I could, pretend to be incredibly wise and have this infinite knowledge myself. And Date is the sort of the trick answer, because that's the name of the protagonist of the first game, which we don't know about his whereabouts right now. So of course it's not Satyr or Centaur, it's gonna be Grandarva. I don't know how to pronounce that.
That is correct.
But don't be scared, this game is not about a quiz show. Ganesha. Yeah, they are right, and I don't wanna hide this, so perhaps I'm gonna move myself up here. We'll see how that deals with the
10 points for the correct
the HUD and the interface.
Good job, Ryuki.
Okay, this is like a dream. Ryuki is sort of sleepy or drunk. There's a lot of jokes about being drunk this time around. It usually revolves around current day trending topics. Some of them are techie, some of them are
Are you familiar with the
social.
Cyclops serial killings?
This is a direct reference to the previous game, so those of you who have played the first game would answer yes. I am familiar with the new Cyclops serious killings. That's the main case of the first game.
No, not
But
you, Mr. Ryuki.
there's not gonna be spoilers for you. I'm gonna answer as in the know, right? I knew, and I'm gonna answer as a player who played the first game. But at the same time, this is discreet enough for you to not be spoiled about what happened, about the events of the first game. This is like a flashback, and this is very interesting. This is breaking the fourth floor. This question is for that person on the other side. How long, how long? This is to me. It's a question for you, the players. This is sort of the camera moved, and then the game is breaking the fourth floor, and it's asking you on the other side.
Who was that?
This is one of the few times we see from outside Ryuki. And this is more disturbing. And it's like, I thought I heard a voice. as the voice acting is really good, you can also go to L. This is very convenient when you are not paying attention, and then you go and review and even re-listen to any of the prompts.
Yes.
The questions in this quiz aren't aimed at you, Ryuki.
Right.
They're for you. On the other side.
I don't understand what you're saying.
You think so? See?
Okay, so I can answer to this one as well, even though it's the player and not Ryuki, because we are giving the game this info, so that the game will hide or show some of the stuff. What's this game about? Seems weird, says usual, regular, resident Game Reactor streamer Rebecca. And I'm gonna say, hey, this is like a visual novel and a murder mystery, so it's like a graphic adventure with some puzzles, but mostly it's about the story. Team Popo presses the button, so you must be ready to answer, but before you do,
I want you to take this question. The new Cyclops serial killings. The incident in which many victims got their
okay, that's no spoiler, no worries. Are you or are you not?
familiar with it.
And then that question again, it's breaking the fourth floor.
If we can dig into the details of that incident in the coming 6 days.
And now there is a really good explanation. Like, they don't give a shit about the fourth floor anymore, the fourth wall. So,
In other words, we're asking if we can give you spoilers for the first game.
okay. But again, for those of you watching, you won't be spoiled. I will write down a name. You don't know what that's about, no problem. And I'm gonna be playing until 5. So the more you play, the more references there are to the previous game. So no problem. This is what I just said, basically. Or the other way around. If you don't know a thing, you can.
Serial killers and what you're about to experience, they have nothing to do with each other.
Exactly. So it's more about the context of the characters and the background. But again, if you want to play this, please play the first one, because you would know already who Boss is. And now we are going to be asked about Mizuki, who is an important character in the first game, and she comes back now. And Date, of course. And many others. So you really go play the first game. Buy it already. Go buy it now. Buy it.
Cyclops serial killer.
Are you, meaning us? And I'm gonna say yes. Oh yeah, and now I have to answer to the host itself.
Are you sure?
Let's give you a simple test just to make sure. Okay.
The one who resolved the new Cyclops serial killings was Kaname Date of Abyss.
This is no spoiler. This is the protagonist of the first game.
On the final day of that investigation, someone was shot in the leg.
Someone was shot in the leg.
To give me their last name, first name.
If you think this is a spoiler, please look down for 10 seconds and we're gonna be done. But this is just a shot in the leg. So it's just a way.
Oh, now you're correct, but you could have just gotten lucky. How about
And then a second question for those of you who played. This is cool. Who's the true culprit? This is very spoiler, but at the same time, it could be a nickname. So again, you can look down for 10 seconds, and I will be done with this.
first name again, please?
No problem with this. Nothing major, because the first game is crazy about personalities and who is who. So really, only the ones who played understand what I just wrote. So
Another right answer.
you can look up now, Rebecca and others, not wanting to be spoiled. It was just these two names, which out of context mean nothing. And my colleagues say it looks and sounds perfectly fine now. All right.
You really do know about the new site.
So the problem is that just 1 hour,
Did you hear that?
you will get an idea of this game, of what this game is about, but you won't get like the full picture because this has like 3 or 4 different sort of gameplay styles. But it is interesting to see the balance between humor and comedy and the more obscure murder mystery and weird what's going on here, physics and science fiction stuff. So
That means the next question. Are you ready?
this one's good.
A precognitive dream
This sounds like the Tom Cruise movie, right?
is a dream that lets you see the future. But these precognitive, are they real?
Truly real.
Are they truly, really, really real? Is this the real world? So, where in the first game, everyone who was killed
Can't be.
got their eye extracted. This is all about being cut in half, but like perfectly in half. That's like the main mystery here. But we don't know if this is a dream. It looks like a dream. They say that. So this is sort of a teaser, and we don't know when is this happening. So now the game starts proper now. Not now. This is a second teaser, but you know what I mean. And here comes fan favorite Mizuki, who's a grown up now. She was a teenager, and I think she's 18 or 19 now. And she was uber strong in the first game already and smart. So she looks like an agent now, and that looks like a body or half a body.
Mizuki, I've detected a biological response.
And this AI that she's got into her eye is the AI, Ava, that we know from the first game, who we all fell in love with as well.
3 o'clock, distance of 315 feet, in the middle row of seats.
For cops, these are really advanced clues and info. Okay, so that was the easiest QTE ever. Not many of these sequences throughout the game, nor throughout the first game, so... Love affairs. I mean, fell in love I meant as a character, but you know, you gotta love Ava. She's, I mean, and Mizuki and most of the characters. They are really nice. It's snowing, and this is like a football stadium. Don't say soccer, please. And I could waste time, but you know, the thing is, that's where the shooter is, and IBA provides me with, as I said, advanced investigation features, such as this night vision zoom.
Iba, zoom in. Night vision mode.
Night vision mode. Then Lasse is saying in the comments, Ava is the only person in the world that I would happily remove my eye for. Beat girl, best girl. Yeah, I think we could all have. I mean, that's like the ultimate gadget, right? And that's like the cute robot model, but when you actually get to meet Iva in augmented reality or virtual reality, she's super cute as a woman. Okay, what's going on here? Entrance, exit. the seats. I can X-ray these, so it's night vision and now it's X-ray.
Use the X-ray next.
And there's these new investigation sections in this game, later in the game, where you recreate the full thing in virtual reality. And those are a really nice addition to the series and make me dream of a Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney with those mechanics.
Understood.
Understood. But Shu Takumi is no longer producing this sort of great graphical adventures. It's all about Uchikoshi-san. With all my respect to both, of course. There's a figure here. It looks like a female figure. I don't know. Found you.
Who is that?
Identity unknown.
Judging from their figure, they appear to be female.
So she's jealous, huh? I bet that's it. Why else would another girl target me?
But they are always joking about this, about liking other people, and there's many sort of perv or pervy jokes. And while at first they might sound or come off as, you know, out of context or a bit silly or childish, when you continue the story and when you get to know what Uchikoshi-san is about, it's like the joke about the joke. They're joking about pervs, and it's, in my opinion, it's okay, and it never gets creepy in a way. It's all about the fun.
Well, sure, but that's why other girls don't like me much.
I'm fairly certain that has more to do with your... Mizuki, load Evolver. with-
Again, Evolver is another element coming from the first game.
You should be able to knock your opponent unconscious by detonating it near them.
Got it.
Got it. It's a super nice gun. There's this sort of an encyclopedia of things that you can check out if you get lost among so many terms. You're gonna catch up super swiftly.
I will display the aiming reticle.
Hello, Griffin. That's a loyal viewer.
Take aim and pull the trigger.
On it.
Bam. Another QT. I have to aim here and bam. I'm gonna make myself smaller. I'm not the important thing going on here. What was that? Who? You, Elite Griffin?
Where'd she go now?
Where did she go now?
Detecting the target's footsteps. They seem to be heading toward the stadium.
Again, this is all very techy, very CSI, very
Mizuki, wait.
near future police department. You won't be able to catch up to them. More importantly, that's not why we are here. We're here because of this. Half an hour to go. This is AI, the Somnium Files nirvanA Initiative on the Nintendo Switch, which released a couple of weeks ago, also on PS4, Xbox, and PC.
Yes.
This is the sequel to 2018's I, the Somnium Files.
Hey, that's...
So, why is she shocked about these
You recognize him?
Yeah,
sudden
I'm sure of it.
appearance?
I'll never forget. It's...
So it's half a guy.
the left half of his body.
Oops.
His name is Jin Furue. I remember it clearly.
Really nice background music once again. If you are correct, Elite Griffin, we can only have the air conditioner up to, or down to 27 degrees in public locales or shops or establishments. I don't know who's gonna follow that, but I'm really not a friend of extremely cool or cold aircon. It makes me get a cold very quick. This is important. 6 years ago at Studio Divita, this is coming back 6 years. You know, Uchikoshi-san is always doing like this, back and forth, and sometimes in parallel timelines or universes. So 6 years ago, this is what happened.
Right half of his body.
Which is shortly after the first game. It might sound ultra complicated or tangled to you right now, but it's not. 6 years ago,
Ryuki, what's wrong? Hold
and this is
yourself
interesting because we are back to the quiz show setting, but this is real life. This is not the dreamy version with the blue guys. These are all characters, all but the host, which I'm covering with my pretty face. But the host here are characters we know and love from the first game. That's why I recommend you play the first game now.
Where am I?
Don't tell me you were sleeping. Who falls asleep in the middle of a live stream?
Who falls asleep in the middle of a live stream? Really? Who could actually fall asleep? They're laughing at him like it was a dream.
Mr. Ryuki, you're working under boss, right?
Iris is super important to the first game as well. And as you can see, Mizuki here is 6 years younger. And that's the Mizuki you guys remember from the first game.
Boss, have you been giving him
And the
vacation
voice.
time?
She's probably working him to the bone on his off hours, too.
I resent that. That is not. I just happen to scrape the stratum corneum off my heels every once in a while.
Just weird type of comedy that you will find here sometimes. Oh yeah, David, they added 2 new characters on Mario Strikers. Yeah, I have to love and hate that game. I love that they added Daisy because it was like the most obvious missing character in the you know, original release base game. But at the same time, they have so many things to fix with the online and balancing and AI and lag and many things that don't work as fluent or as fine as they should. So if I played after that day, yeah, I played Mario Strikers when it released and I got really mad, and I'm completely fine with that. You have to know that I got mad at the game live so that I didn't fall asleep that day for the stream.
Oh,
But yeah, if you can see, yeah, I've been playing recently.
yeah.
All right, now that Mr. Ryuki is away, let's get back to it, shall we? Here we go. Next.
Okay, Cubehead Komeji.
Which Taoist symbol shaped
Smooth
like
save.
interlocking black and white commas?
Of course, if you haven't played the first game, you will come to this and say, okay, the quiz show setting again. Where is the murder? Where's the mystery? Where's the meat to it? But for players who come from the first game, this is fresh and different. It is absurd and it's bizarre. Which Taoist symbol, shaped like interlocking black and white commas, represents the origin of all things? If I'm correct, and this tattoo is as old as it can get, we're talking about that, right? And this is gonna be interesting.
What the?
Something interrupted the yin yang which is a symbol that they, of course, it's all about symbolism. Uchikoshi-san. It's no spoiler if I say that the Jinjan will come slightly after.
A blackout?
So the stream cut, or at least the electricity cut, and we are shocked at this 6 years ago.
Yeah, I'm on it.
This is all important because we are talking about a murder now, a murder mystery, and this is this Jin Furue, the first half that suddenly appeared during a live stream. So just imagine the other half, says Elite Griffon in the comments. Exactly, the first half. So just imagine I'm live streaming here, and then half of a Game Reactor colleague drops here behind me. That would be shocking, right? Or half of Rebecca, just imagine. And go back to present. Don't worry, there are like time flow charts and ways for you to keep track of everything. So she's not that short. She's as tall as me, I would say. I'm not that tall anymore. Anyway. Okay, so again, slightly techie police stuff going on here. For example, this Uchikoshi-san man is a fan of these little details. You can check regulation line, a holographic boundary line, so it's easier to set up for the police. These little touches here and there. There is this inspector. This is a pun from the previous game, so this is a reference to that one. Everyone in the game forgets the name of this guy, so this is an ongoing joke from the previous game. So ask his name.
Bad feeling about this, but
You have the face mask on because it's a nowadays thing.
Yeah.
then I'll tell you. But please don't forget it, okay?
Yeah,
Got it.
got it.
My name is Kagami.
She's kidding. She's pulling his leg. So Kagami.
Okay, I'll remember that.
But you're given the option to ask again.
Here it comes. I knew this would happen.
Can someone explain where the blood is? Asks Griffin. Well, that's one of the things. What's going on with the blood? Why are they perfectly cut in half? I mean, we could go on here forever.
Say it one more time.
You know, this never ends.
I told you it's...
And no matter the character you are controlling, you can do this. You can do this again and again, and he will get mad. So I could ask around
I don't think there's anyone in our
a
generation...
little bit of info on Mr. Furue. As you can see, it's one of these recent, or the ones we're used to seeing on TV, or as of late, very young CEO for an IT company. So he's all about the speeches and, you know, everything that we've seen from Steve Jobs on.
He was famous until he... Well, even...
And 6 years ago, I was part of that investigation too.
Were you at the studio by any chance?
You don't remember?
He was at the studio. Nobody remembers.
You don't leave much of an impression. In a good way.
In a good way?
This is the detective.
I don't even have to ask about you. Yamazuki Okira.
It's sort of a refresh for the ones coming from the previous game, or an introduction to for the ones starting this game anew, which again is not what I would recommend. Mitsuki Okiura. She's 18 years old now, high schooler attending Sekiba. She's about to
But Okira is your
promote or to leave the school for
Date, if I
the university. That's no spoiler.
studio when the other half of the corpse was found.
You were at the studio 6 years ago.
So I take it you were there too?
Yeah. Back then, though, you were 12 at the time, so I can't blame you for not remembering.
She was 12 when she had that important role in the first
I
game.
heard you became a special
And she now is a special agent at Abyss again.
That boss lady got
Playing
me
on words.
huh?
Boss lady is this lady next to me.
Little girl gets hired as an investigator. Huh. Guess
Abyss is a particularly special
Introduction.
Mizuki was hired via
Blah,
what
blah,
might
blah.
be referred to as
I could go on. I could ask these guys here.
Of course not.
What? Why not?
Because you're only 18. You're still a student at Seki.
But I barely even go. I graduate in a month. I hardly have any classes left.
The point is, you're still a student.
Then why did you let me join?
Because I thought you had potential as a singer.
But as a sinker, the sinkers, and this is from the first game, and it's no spoilers. Sinkers, and this is like the main mechanic and the main puzzle type you're gonna find in both games. These puzzles, and I explain this now because we're not going to get to the first one, are called Somniums. So sinkers are Abyss agents capable of entering the mind of the witnesses or suspects in a dreamy state, so that they can find something they're hiding, or something that they are subconsciously not trying to say or to reveal, right? So that's like the main way of investigation that this Abyss group use, which is of course completely illegal, but they are supported by the government. Because yes.
I assume your gargantuan strength and combat ability were a factor as
But you're basically still, and you've only been.
So she's
training
like
for
an
about-
intern.
It's way too early to put you in the field. Yeah, I thought you'd.
Please, Bob. I have to.
Can you not give me the puppy dog eyes? You know I'm weak to the puppy dog eyes.
That's the type of humor you're gonna find.
But promise me once, swear to me that you won't do anything dangerous or illegal, no matter what.
Yeah,
And one more thing. I am your superior. You should address
10-4, boss man. I read you loud and clear.
Do you? Why?
Is
What is it?
Kanamedate, again, no spoiler here. He's the main protagonist of the first game.
Well, I was just wondering if he contacted.
I would have let you know right away if he did. Date was caught in that explosion 6 years ago.
We don't know what explosion she's talking about. This is the beginning of the game, no problem.
and has been missing ever since. Date's
She's
body
not
was
referring
never
to
recovered
the
from
end
scene.
of the first game.
Don't worry. I am positive it would take more than that to kill Kana. I am certain he's at the Hot Springs district in Atami or someplace. Spending
If he is, I'd go down there and drown him in that boiling water.
Okay, let's see how to progress these. I'm gonna take a next ray look, but first a normal
I
look.
will get the more shocking facts out of the way first. The estimated time of
So,
death is approximately 9 hours ago.
that's one of the problems here. The first half showed up 6 years ago, but the estimated time of death is approximately 9 hours ago. How could that possibly be? You know, Uchikoshi-san is obsessed with the 9 number and with the nonari sort of puzzles. So it's no coincidence that the time of death is approximately 9 hours ago.
What?
What?
9 hours ago.
It is currently 9 o'clock. So that would mean he was killed around
It's
12.
9 o'clock, of course, my horse. Wait. Hold on.
6 years ago, I.
Hold that thought. There's more.
So everyone saw that body, half of a body, 6 years ago.
As you can see, The body was cut in two. There are no other external wounds on the body.
There are no wounds.
It appears that he was sliced in half while he was still alive.
He was sliced in half while he was still alive. And this is not the Darth Maul type of Star Wars deal. In half, like really half of the body parts perfectly sliced. Vertically. Okay, I'm gonna x-ray this.
Would you like to check the corpse with X-ray mode?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's unlikely, but maybe the right half of the body is buried in the ground.
It's interesting theory. Why not?
You could simply flip the body over.
No way. I don't want to see that cut. Especially not down there.
So this is what I meant. Not down there. It's a sort of a pervy joke. It's full of it. And for example, later on, when something has to be rigid and strong, they will refer to a penis. But it's in the first game. It's all about making fun of Date himself, who's a bit of a perv himself, and he collects these magazines and porno, etc. So they're always into this back and forth, but I don't think it gets annoying as long as you know what the style of comedy is, if you know what I mean. Yeah, you know what I mean.
How's this?
This is X-ray. You can see the skeleton.
Thanks. That body is definitely just the left
Just
half.
the left half. And what else?
It's snowing, but it hasn't piled up yet.
This is interesting as well. It's snowing, but it hasn't piled up yet. Why is it interesting?
Yeah.
By the way, Mizuki, there is something that has been bought.
What's this?
This is the field before law enforcement arrived. Notice anything peculiar?
No, nothing in particular.
The turf runs a considerable distance and is wet from the snow.
Of course, it's snowing, so...
If someone were to step on it, they would leave a trace.
Exactly.
However,
There aren't any footprints.
indeed,
Then how did the body...
unknown. Perhaps they descended from the sky, or rose up from the ground. Or they teleported here.
teleported?
They will start joking about teleporting the body, which is normally not the case with these games. There's always an explanation to all the montage, you know, the way that things happen, even though there's many scientific and science fiction explanations. There won't go the teleporting way, if you know what I mean.
I was joking. Do not take it seriously.
Okay, so there's this and that. So
You do know I'm the... Right, but that's why I'm asking. Isn't it a bit weird for you to be...
This case, I saw it too, 6 years ago.
Studio divide.
that's the other half, and it's interesting because it came with a signpost and free-to-free message and a QR code, and that's
And the HB case is still open.
the cornerstone of the first part of the investigation.
The reputation of the whole department hangs on.
By HB case. She is so named because the culprit is known as Terror.
Terror is
Their identity is unknown.
the killer.
6 years have passed since Terror first made themselves known, but we have yet to find any promise.
I already know that. You don't have to explain it.
And this ABAS trivia is one of the new features that I was talking about that is really nice in terms of accessibility. You can read through them faster. Tear has two meanings. Tear as in tears when you cry. The other tear means to rip something. The culprit of the HB case is more a reference to the later, but adding an error at the end of tear we got terror, which at the same time sounds like terror. So it's really nice, and you can always go to the menu, and as I said, yeah, skip, close. So as I said, you have the file here, and this is very convenient when you don't want to get lost. There's the tutorials, there's trivia for the many things, the many elements and terms that you are unlocking, the appendix, and then persons of interest, both in the present and 6 years ago. Then you can also look at the flowchart, which, as I said, is good to keep track of the branching and the times and where we are. But of course, for now, we've only unlocked a little bit of it, right? Achievements, etc. Then there are some crazy mini games as well. Okay, so I don't know what else do I have to check to move on, because
Haven't though there is something I didn't.
The footprint.
Bingo.
But this is what we were talking about.
So just how? I should be asked. You're the one. You were also at the studio. Quite a coincidence.
What are you trying to say?
Why?
I got a Nile message. It said HB Stadium.
This is why she came, and of course it's a direct reference to the half-body case and stadium.
Referring to the case 6 years ago.
The half-body serial.
I need to know more about that. Changed my life, so that's why I came.
Regarding Suka's smartphone, if it gets reception, I can connect to any network, because she's got a IVA in her eye. That's the thing. Why is she using a smartphone when she has IVA with her? So
who sent them?
I don't know. It was sent from an account that someone must have wanted me to.
Someone must have wanted me to find the body. Maybe the culprit.
There is one more thing. The masked woman who shot at us earlier. Who could this person of interest be? And why did she try to kill
We only have 6 minutes to go. I know it's not too much, but it's just an introduction to what this game is about. Mostly for those who played the first one. And people tell me this is almost as good as the first one. So that's going to be a really good game. For me, the first one is a solid 8 out of 10.
Abyss is a high-level organ. You do.
Huh? But you don't. What?
Filler.
I've finished. It's being sent. I'm sure the result.
Okay. And then this guy here.
Oh, no. Weird though, isn't it? But the body shows... Oh, thank you for the...
I don't think I can do much more. Really?
As for what was used to cut him, I am sorry, but
What do you mean?
judging by the cross-section,
It is clear that it was not a blade. It could not be a laser or pressurized water.
What was it?
as I said, the body was cut at the molecular level.
This is where the science fiction stuff gets in.
There is hardly any blood left. It could
There's
be
hardly
said
any
that
blood,
the corpse
answering
was
to
left
your
with the
question,
cut
Eli
section
Griffin.
facing the ground.
Speculated that corpse was left with the cut section facing the ground.
However,
However,
there are no. Therefore, it is
oh,
clear
I missed
he-
that.
However, there are no traces of any blood flow on the ground.
Can someone explain where the blood is? There you go.
Therefore, it is clear that he was murdered at some other location. Murdered at some.
I don't think we will find anything else here. So, really, what to do?
Hey, what's your...
Give me.
I really don't know how to move on. I did like a week ago because I'm halfway through the full game now, But I have to end this stream in 3 minutes, so how can we make this? Sorry. Okay, this is a mini game, and I'm not gonna spend any time there now. So it was something else, but I don't remember what. Sometimes when you've played a game already, okay, this might be it. You want to force the game to happen, and then you miss something. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Yeah. The same face with.
Jin was a young industrialist. He was quite famous and often made media of this cannot possibly be a stranger who happens to look like him.
There you go. So this type of thing. It's not about the actions, but about checking
6
everything
years ago,
out.
Jin Furroway's body was discovered in Studio de Pinot. His left, and yet his time of death is, which means that half his body was alive. What the hell is? My brain is doing cartwheels trying to figure this out.
That's Ava. So you get to know her in augmented reality version before we leave.
Hold on, did Iba just appear?
I can only see it myself as Mitsuki because she is in my left eye.
Yeah.
Wait, let me put my earphones in.
Can you hear me, boss?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Also about technology and gadgets. Uchikoshi-san loves this. And we can talk to Ava now. So there's this bunch of questions.
I looked into Jin Furroway's family back. Not only did
She's not a little cute robot anymore. So this is like a girl. And as Lasse says, you end up loving her in the first game, no matter what.
There are no signs of him ever having been. That half body was definitely.
So this is a bunch of theories
I, of course,
on
didn't
why
consider it a possibility.
is he conservated in that way.
But both faces match. The rest depends on the DNA. What?
I mean, the heart is in the left half of the body.
This is a crazy theory.
You think they might have sewn the body back together?
No. There and were you two? You do realize the cerebrum, brainstem, and spinal cord were completely severed in two?
Okay, and with that, I think it's really nice that we stop here, but this is because this is a really nice introduction to both characters and what's going on here in the second game.
Definitely connected to the incident,
Which means the half-body cake.
That's both Mitsukis together. Let me go a bit farther.
Hey,
Very obscure.
how much do you know about the HB serial?
As you know, my knowledge of due to the explosion 6 years ago and due to poor connection.
That's important.
I was unable-
Due to the explosion 6 years ago, I lost all my memories for a few days before that point, and due to poor connection, I was unable to send or retrieve any
and
backups.
due to send or retrieve.
What about
Same for me. Ryuki was the one on the case. I don't know anything other than what he reported.
what about the stuff he didn't report?
So the thing is, Ryuki is the key
I'm not a psychic.
to progressing in this case.
How would I know something?
Iba?
I've determined the location from Toma's GPS.
She's determined the location from the other AI in his eye.
Currently, Ryuki seems to be in Golden Yokocho.
Golden Yokocho. And now we unlock the navigation feature, which is very similar to the first game, and we can move to Golden Yokocho. And I think this is when we stop. Before we do that, the game goes back 6 years again, as you can see, and shows us the original appearance of the first half, the right half of Furue's body. So, okay, I think it's enough. that is ICE, the Somnium Files, nirvanA Initiative, a game that I'm loving. I'm halfway through. I'm not even halfway through, but you know, it might look really weird and bizarre for those of you coming anew and not having played the first game. But for those of you who played the first game, I'm sure you liked it, and this will make much more sense. So I encourage all of you to play the first game because the stories are normally from this guy really, really good scenarios and characters, and I personally like the science fiction and philosophical touch to it. I will be playing until the end of the game in a few days or in a week or so, and then I will publish my review at your local Game Reactor site or at some Game Reactor sites. So looking forward to completing it because they normally end with a bang, and Uchiko-san is a fan of mic dropping, if you know what I mean. So speaking about mic dropping, thank you so much for watching and see you next time. I'm gonna drop the mic, but you know, careful because this is expensive and you shouldn't be dropping this actually.